So, you want to sell your content online as stock, but you don't know whether to shoot epic video or just plain old stills. Let's have a closer look at the pros and cons of both. So, starting with the most important consideration for a lot of people, what can you earn? Well, having a quick look at my personal sales from the last week from one of the major stock agencies, I can tell you that on one day I earned £24 for the sale of a video clip, and I sold a whole bunch of images for an average of 30p each. And this is pretty average. This is typically what I will earn from footage and stills. So 24 British pounds, I don't know, that's about $30 US. The image sales would probably be about 20 cents. 20 cents per license. So yeah, in other words, one video sale is worth 80 photo sales. I think this is a clear win for footage. It's worth mentioning, however, that the licensing options on stock sites can be rather complex, and occasionally it's possible to sell a still image with a higher level license, and you'll be paid more. In the past, I've been paid over $200 for the sale of a single image that I would usually only get 25 cents for. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm not complaining. Okay, let's look at the cost of doing this. If you want to submit footage, you need a camera capable of shooting in 4K. Most clips are still sold in HD, but major film productions and what have you, they're being shot in 8K now. And who knows, maybe that will be the standard for stock footage one day. So you want to extend the life of your portfolio and make it relatively future-proof by shooting in the highest possible resolution that you can. One camera that I think is excellent for shooting stock footage is the Sony a6600. It currently retails for around $1,400. You need a lens. I would recommend a zoom lens with a fixed aperture for maximum versatility. You're probably looking at $600, $800 here. You need a variable neutral density filter so that you're always able to shoot at a shutter speed of either 1/50th or 1/60th of a second. That's another $100. You need high quality memory cards with fast write speeds for your 4K filming. They could easily be a couple $100 as well each. If you plan to do any shooting indoors, you're gonna need video lights and light modifiers that could easily be another $1,000. And now the biggest cost a lot of people don't really think about, computers and storage. I didn't consider this when I started, but it's a very important thing. To edit your 4K footage, you're gonna need a fast computer. Right, so you want to be using quality monitors as well, to be sure you're working with accurate colors. You could easily spend over $1,000 on a computer for editing your footage. Another cost here, which will be ongoing, like I said earlier, is storage space. Each clip you're working on could easily end up at 1 GB plus the final export of the clip. Getting another 5 TB hard drive at a few $100s every time you run out of space is going to be costly. Right, so let's tally it all up. $1,400, $800, $100, $200, $1,000, $1,000, comes to a total of $5,000. All in all, submitting stock footage could end up costing between $4,000 to $5,000 initially if you're starting out from scratch without any equipment and whatnot. And that's not including gimbals, sliders, and similar things that you don't need, but that you could buy to really up your game and set your footage apart from the competition. And other expenses as well, of course. Hiring models, studios, locations, the cost of transporting all your gear to the set, insurance, might want to have that if you've got a lot of expensive stuff. Still images, on the other hand, all you need is a camera. You can submit images taken with your phone, but I recommend still images, on the other hand, all you need is a camera. You can submit images taken with your phone, but I recommend a proper camera. You can get one for around $300 or less. Especially if you're buying it used, if you're buying it second-hand. Your editing computer doesn't have to be as powerful, and you don't need quite as much storage space. It's all good for less than $1,000. So, cost of getting started, clear win for still photography. So a few more differences. I personally find that videos are quicker to edit. Say for example you shoot a 2-minute clip. You might be able to split that up into 6 to 7 into video clips of 12 to 15 seconds in length. Because you're essentially only working with one chunk of footage, you just smack on one color grade and you have done several clips in one go. Just chop them up, chop. Done. With still images, you can usually copy and paste the settings on a series of similar photos, but you often have to do little tweaks to each image anyway. But that's editing. Before you edit, you gotta capture the material, and still photography is a clear winner here. You can whip out your camera and start shooting whenever you want to. If you're shooting video, you have to set up your camera, your stabilizer, your tripod, gimbal, whatever you're using. Yeah, you can shoot handheld, but you're gonna need super steady hands. You also have more settings to check internally on your camera. You need to set your white balance, make sure your shutter speed is double the frame rate you've set. Your picture profile, you need to set that up as well. If you're shooting outdoors, you have to pay attention to changing lighting conditions. Taking stills is a lot faster. On a related note, shooting video, even if you're just using a small mirrorless hybrid camera, it will attract a lot more attention than if you're just taking stills. Now that may or may not be a problem for you. Okay, so the pros and cons of video and still photography, it seems to be pretty even. I think that you should go with whatever you're most passionate about. I think that photography and filmmaking are two very different skills. Shooting footage to sell on stock sites isn't necessarily what I would call filmmaking, but it's still different from photography. I do both. I have been for 3 years now, but I'm gradually moving away from stock photography with the aim to focus exclusively on footage. Before I tell you why, if you're getting any value from this video, please hit the like button. That would be much appreciated. Right, so I'm moving into stock footage exclusively. Because it's more expensive getting into video, there are fewer people doing it, and the market is less saturated. It is, however, a growing market, and it's growing fast. I truly believe in the future, the majority of images we see will be moving. There will be moving images. And also the commission, the agencies pay for still images. They just seem to be going down and down and down year on year. Royalty rates for video, they're still fairly stable. If you're completely new to submitting stock content, regardless of whether you choose to do footage or stills, it's going to take a while before you're going to see any returns on it. I had been submitting still images for 4 years before I started doing video, and I don't think I could have done it. I don't think I could have done video if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't been doing still images first. Because I wasn't making any money from video at first, and I was spending a lot of money on it. I bought a new computer. I took out a business loan to buy a red cinema camera. In hindsight, that wasn't really needed. That wasn't necessary at all. I thought it would give me a competitive edge, but a mid-range hybrid camera would have done just fine. Hey, well, you know. Anyway, because I already had a huge portfolio of stock images, the ongoing passive income I received from that allowed me to start doing something new that wasn't bringing in any revenue at first. The earnings from my photography allowed me to take a break from photography and invest more time in shooting video and building up a portfolio of video clips. So, to conclude, the answer to the question, stock footage versus stills, which one should you do? Well, I think video is definitely the future, but it's costly to get started. If you can afford to spend a few $1,000s and not see any return on your investment for maybe a year, then definitely go for it. Do stock footage. It will pay off in the long run. If this is not an option for you, then do what I did. Start with still images and gradually move into video. But, like I said earlier, do what you feel most passionate about. If you're not looking to make a career out of this, and you just want a side hustle, whatever, by all means just stick with still photography. It's easy to get into, and there's still good money to be made from it. If you're just persistent and keep uploading quality content. Right. If you're curious to see some of the stock footage that I have shot recently, stick around for the next video.